How do you weed through the real instructors sharing knowledge on the forums, social media, and YouTube versus the posers?
Wow, just getting right into it with the posers right out the bat.
I guess that means they think we're not posers.
Well, I guess we're in the in crowd.
I mean, it's a legit question. Social media gives everybody a voice. Unfortunately, those voices aren't always valid.
It's definitely democratized any transfer of knowledge, and I think that it's good and bad though. It's there's stuff on there that you can seek out and I think truly learn, but there's also this default towards outrage. Like people just want to yell at each other, or argue over like the most low stake arguments.
Well, I think when they get controversial, they feel like it gives them like a louder voice or a more valid voice.
Yeah.
Not necessarily true.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the real thing is if you don't know that person or you don't know the circle they operate in or what their experience level is, I mean, anybody can look good on the internet.
I mean, you're here, so I mean,
Well, yeah.
that's proof.
No,
of
I
that.
said look good on the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that it was a natural reaction to kind of stale content. You know, social media allows everyone to kind of do their own thing, and you know, some people have interesting things to say, but they never had a platform before. But that doesn't make, you know, everyone a subject matter expert, as we've definitely seen too. And you know, Bob, someone like yourself has a lot of experience. How do you sift through?
Yeah, how do you make people on social media
coming at me
aware?
hard.
I mean, how do you make them aware of what your background is and what your skill set is?
I think the problem with the social media instructors or guys putting the stuff out there is, anytime you get on camera, you want to make yourself look cool, right? So they're coming up with content.
Go ahead.
What, hair product? Yeah.
They're coming up with content just to make themselves look cool on camera. You know?
They
So
wanna
it's
be
not stuff
popular,
that makes sense. It's, you want to be popular, you want to do stuff that wows the customer, you know?
Well, and that's the thing is, if it looks sexy, it sells. So
Exactly.
so people are elevating things up to the point where they're actually not based in fundamentals and they're not valuable anymore. They look great on camera.
Yeah.
It's cool, got
Which
pictures.
is dangerous as hell, because now these guys
Dangerous as
they,
hell,
they
yeah.
they get well known as good instructors out there. Well, then that's what guys are going out there. Other guys that are watching this stuff, they think that's the norm, and then start teaching that to all the general public. Well, that's scary shit, because now people are freaking practicing on shit that they don't need to.
Yeah. I think it's something that we can see across the board with all culture in any industry, is that we don't yet understand the effects that social media is having, because it does empower that amateur who maybe has something to say about a specific thing, but when you want to broaden his aperture and his voice, he maybe is, you know, saying stuff outside of his lane. I mean, look at, like, you know, the fake news phenomena kind of a thing, where it's like stuff that is
What's fake news?
What's fake? Not anything I watch. Well, you get content that is amplified because it's cool, not because it's credible, and this distorts the learning process. So, like, I know guys.
So that's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I was hitting on, exactly.
Like, a lot of guys will ask you, like, you know, hey, when do I do something cool? And you're like, bro, you're doing something cool right now. But their perception and their frame of reference is like, well, I'm not doing like backflips in a course and shooting a gun. This isn't fucking cool, you know? So it's finding that balance. And, you know, I think the biggest way you can determine it is, you know, what is the guy's background who's teaching you? If I want to learn.
That's exactly where I was going to go. Like, because you can't even, it sounds like we're, you know, bad mouthing or bashing all these guys. In reality, some of these guys think that what they're teaching works.
Right.
The problem is they don't actually know
Whether it
what
works or not.
Right.
And that's
So-
the thing. What's the validation? And I agree with you both. It's you got to figure out, is this person really got the knowledge base to teach this stuff?
Yeah.
There's stuff I don't teach, particularly and specifically because that's not my specialty. It's not what I do.
Yeah, well, you're smart then.
Well-
I mean, most people don't do that.
And I don't have as much of a dog in the hunt. So I can kind of back off and say that. But it is, I mean, like, I understand the question. I get it. You know, with everybody having the ability to be instantly famous because you can be on the internet.
Yeah.
It is probably hard to weed them out, but I agree, it's background, you know, and it's experience level, and I guess you got to talk to other people. There's also, I mean, I would have to say that association, you know,
Yeah.
the good instructors
Yeah.
or the solid base tends to associate with one another, or should. Now, you know as well as I do,
The A
And
students
it-
hang out with A students, kind of a thing. Yeah.
They do, but now there's a lot of little infighting when that happens too. You know, there's pokes and jabs, but there's a difference between pokes and jabs and fights.
Yeah.
Well, like any academic, professors should be critiquing each other constantly, but not everyone is a professor, kind of a thing.
Right.
And it's with social media, we've seen like this allergy almost to even having a discussion about credentials, because so many guys will do different things. And it's like, I think a lot of people tiptoe around just flat out saying like, hey, if you're teaching gunfighting, have you ever been shot at? Like, let's just go ahead and say that's one thing that you should probably, be able to answer to.
Right.
Now, you can take that argument in a lot of different directions, but I think that's a good metric to use when measuring it against a guy's background. It's like, hey, are you opening your mouth and speculating about what's happening every single time you make a statement about, all right, when you're in a fight and you're doing this, like, whoa, let's back it up. Tell me about the fight you were in, because if you've never been like scared before, if you've never been like desperate, and you don't have the breadth of professional experience to understand how everything could fall apart, then credentials might matter, a little bit.
I mean,
Just a
that's
little bit.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is it.
That's it exactly.